All right. I think I'm live. As always, I have no idea. Can you guys hear me? Someone drop a comment down below. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. And if that's all good, I'm going to send some posts out on social media telling people to jump on in. We've got people in here already. We've got Anthony Crapella, Kathy Evans, Stu Batman, Mike the Magic Man. What's going on, everyone? Player ready. All right. Sounds good to me. Everyone in? I'll give it a couple of minutes to warm up a little bit. Hopefully you can hear me anyway. You guys having a good weekend? I don't know about you, but I am so tired because I stayed up late. Happy Sabbath, says Stu. Hear and see great. Okay, cool. I'm about to post these things. Kevin Oust tells me you can hear good. Frank, how you doing, Frank, buddy? Says loud and clear. All right, this is great stuff. What's up, Ad Star B? How you doing, pal? I'm just going to share on social media that we're live so we can get a bunch of people in, and then we can just start today's Sunday service. If you guys have any questions for today, by the way, we've got Jeremy, Dr. Don, hashtag PTL. Where's the tan? Oh, guys, I can show you the tan that I had. It is terrible. In fact, I'll pull up if we get a little bit later on into the show, I will show you the terrible burn that I had. And apologies for not being here last week, everyone, by the way. Charlie Robinson, hey, what's going on, dude? Josh, what's going on, buddy? I've had a hell of a week. I've been so ill. I've been so run down, so sick. I missed you all. I literally missed Sunday so badly last weekend. And what's up from across the pond, Nick Carrick? Yo, buddy, how you doing? Turjay from Norway. I love that we have so many people in here from all around the world. Dr. Don says, staying hydrated. Yes, I am. I am staying thoroughly hydrated all the way throughout. Basically, I was foolish and went for a 22-kilometer walk with my friend, and which is like 13 miles-ish or something, on one of the hottest days of the year, and I didn't wear sun cream, so I burnt myself. Stupid. That was last weekend, and then since then, I've been super sick at the same time, just like I had to have a dentistry work done because I got like an abscess under my tooth, and then had like the flu too. So yeah, I've been all kinds of sick. But Mario, what's going on? You got Josh. I brought Imagine from Alakazam a few days ago. Absolutely insane trick. I've got that trick here. I'll show people that. Let me show you how. I wore a vest. I don't wear vests, and I decided to wear a vest on that hot day, and that's the damage it did to me. But if you guys can all see, can you see? That basically I have a permanent vest on now, which is disgusting. So I've got that going for me. Hope you all got a kick out of seeing that right there, because it bottomed me out. I can see the reflection. Oh, so bad. JMJ, what's going on? Alex Bow, did you get my email? Just want to apologize again. I'm not sure. I'll double check on the email side of things. I can't pronounce that person's name, but there's a lot of waving emojis. How you doing, buddy? Dr. Don, see, outside is bad. Hey, from Germany, Mario. Wow, I love Germany. What part of Germany are you from, Mario? I was over in Frankfurt not so long ago. Jack is asking, what got you into magic? Ad Star B 2007. Damn, man. Who'd have guessed you can get sunburn in Wales? Wait, Adam, is that you that's working in Treco? I literally haven't hung out with you yet, and you're only across the road. I need to come and hang out with you before you go for the summer, dude. I know I've been a terrible person. Just been so busy lately, but I want to come and spend some time with you, have a jam session. Teach us things that work. My first time live, finally ran out of all your videos. Amazing. Oh man, thank you for tuning in. Looks like 3rd-degree burns. I don't know, could be, yeah, it was pretty bad, but I just love from Woody in Spain. Robert Coates. What? Is that Woody Aragon in Spain? From Houston, Texas. Oh wow, man. I've been to Texas. I've been to Austin, Texas. I went to Richard Turner, the gambling cheat who happens to be blind. I went to his house for the day in Austin. I spent a night there in Austin, Texas, and then went to his house. That was a fascinating story. I could talk about one time. But Jack is asking what got me into magic. So fairly, Matthew Brakeman, what's going on, dude? fairly standard story. My grandfather showed me magic when I was really small. He actually has a way more interesting story than me. He was in like a traveling fairground, a traveling circus sort of thing. And whilst he was traveling with people, he met a magician, and the magician showed him magic. Yes, Adam, please do. Oh man, I'm so glad I figured out it was you as well from that crazy username AdstarB. But I definitely want to hang out. Yeah, and so he learned magic whilst being. This is like in the I don't know. I'd assume the 1940s or something. He was bombed out of his home city, which was London, during the Blitz and the war, and had like no family to go back to until we reconnected with one of his brothers, Bert, years later. But he was essentially on his own for all of his life, because we only found out his long lost brother after he died, and for a large portion of his life he was on a traveling fairground, and that's where he learned magic. So when I was born, he showed me magic, and he didn't just show me normal magic tricks. I think that's kind of why I got into the creative side of things. He showed me very creative and like visual tricks that he made up. One of them, he had a note, post-it notepad, and he drew a square on there essentially, and with a sad face. And when you flick the pad, the sad face changed to a happy face. And the method's actually a really good method, really effective method. And yeah, so that's how I got in. He started showing me tricks as I was growing up. And that's how I got into magic, and then the rest is history. So that's my intro. Let's see some comments here. Mario, near Frankfurt, we chatted because your flight was to Frankfurt Hahn. Oh yes, oh yeah, we did speak. Oh man, that was the craziest 24 hours, or one of the craziest 24 hours of my life. Had to go to Hahn. I had to go to Frankfurt for the premiere of Looking for Erdnase. Flew to I booked the wrong airport, so I only had 24 hours to get in and get out, and my flight was landing about 2 hours before the premiere, which was great because the airport's 15 minutes away. But I booked the airport, which is the wrong airport, which is 2.5 hours away, and needed some help from people to get me to the premiere on time. Jack, do you hold local sessions at all? I'm in Wales too. I don't hold sessions, but I'm down for jamming. I'm down for hanging out with anyone. Like Adam will tell you, I've been a bit busy this summer. But I'm definitely down for jamming. So if you drop me a message or an email to my email address, I'll pop it on screen. I'll pop it on screen right now, actually. Then I will. Then we can organize hanging out, because I always want to hang out with magicians and jam, because I don't really get many chances to. Because in Wales, as you know, there's not many magicians around. So there's my email on screen. Yes, L Hale, maybe Lee Hale, I'm assuming. I don't know. Some gambling effects. I don't do any gambling effects, or like I do like I know some pseudo gambling stuff, but I wouldn't really come to me for gambling effects. But it was fascinating watching Richard Turner and interviewing Richard Turner and talking to him about his life, and watching. What was fascinating for me, as I'm a proper magic nerd. I like methods, I like sleights, I like everything to do with magic. And just for me, sitting there watching him just handle a deck of cards as he was talking, and watching him do like strike doubles and bottom deals and center deals just casually, like that was me made up right there. Stu Batman asks, do you think we will ever find out who Erdnase was? I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever confirm who he was, but I do believe that we have discovered him, but we couldn't confirm out of the who's been suggested that who it is. So I think one of the suggestions that has been brought forward is Erdnase. I don't know which one it is, but there's like 3 quite likely contenders. I think one of them is likely to be Erdnase, but I don't know if we'll ever confirm for a fact who it is, which in a way is magic in itself, right? Like, is it better than not knowing? Would it be a boring mystery? It wouldn't be a mystery. So would the story just be lost to the annals of time, sort of thing? So, but I don't know. I just don't know if the documentation, the way, like, getting into it, I don't know if the documentation exists is left over. Like I think the paper trail of how he paid for the books, and where like the forwarded address for was, or the IP information. I think that information would have been lost over time, so it would have been in paper format. So I just I'm not entirely sure if there's a way to fully track him down. I think the only way that we're gonna find out who Ernest really was is by like a family member discovering a pre-press edition book and something. But I just don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. So I think the closer I think we know who. I think there's a few candidates. I think he's one of those candidates, but I don't know if we can ever confirm which one exactly is going to be, purely because of lost data. What do you guys think? Actually, I love this conversation, so let me know what you guys think. Mike Matchman, ABC can't wait to perform this Saturday, possibly, and plenty of things going forward. Yeah, ABC is a great effect from Spidey. Frank Denine, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. What was the name of the effect performed for you? The Kaylee performed for you. The one about destinations. Is it released yet? Yeah, that was called Boarding Pass by Mario Goni. I think it's been out a little while. Just boarding passes in like a flight boarding pass. And yeah, that was an amazing episode. I don't know if you guys have watched it yet, but go ahead and check out this Thursday video is just gone. It says predict any location in the world or something. So it was a really interesting story how that came about. I was really ill. I was not up for doing a video, and you guys know how religiously I stick to my schedule for you guys, and that's how bad I was. And I'm one of these people. I'm never ill, and when I'm ill, I lie about being ill and say I'm not ill. I was just super run down, and I got a package from Murphy's with a bunch of different tricks in it. And I just said to Kaylee, like, hey, we wouldn't be up for learning one of these tricks and performing it. And I said, look, these are the tricks that I know about most products on the market. I don't know about them 100%, but I'm aware of them. So I said, these are the tricks that I don't know the method. I don't really know much about the effect. And if I had to put money on it, I couldn't tell you what the presentation is. I couldn't tell you what the actual full effect is A to Z. And she chose Boarding Pass. And so I actually legit experienced that effect for the very, very first time. And I think it was great. I think it was a great product because Kaylee was a layman and she managed to open it up and perform it within 24 hours. I think that's what makes a good product. I could see myself personally using this in the right circumstance with the right person that would suit my performance style. Then it would work for me. It's not the type of app that I would create by a mile. You guys know that the way I create apps, I like the app to be the vehicle to get there, not the end point. So I don't like the phone to sort of be the end point. If anything, the phone shouldn't feel like it's part of the trick so much. But it's a solid effect. They think of anywhere, and you scan it and it goes there. And I think it's one of those effects which I would never have created, but I'm glad somebody did, because I understand how powerful it would be to a spectator, and sometimes the best tricks we personally wouldn't think of, but then when you see them done, you realize how good they are, and you're glad somebody went through the process of doing that. So it's called Boarding Pass with Mario Goni, who also has some great, I remember him bringing out the Sarl melting point, and that was my favorite trick for years. Yo, Amit says, today is my birthday and I want a deck signed by you. What? Oh, hang on, we got a super chat in here. Super chat from Alex Bow. What? Dude, thank you so much, man. I have an audition for the Magic Circle coming up. Do you have any advice? How do you fool a magician? Okay, Alex, great question. Twofold question. Is that a twofold question for any advice for auditioning, and then any advice on how to fool a magician? Because, yeah, drop some fire emojis in the chat for Alex Bow right there, guys, as well. I really appreciate that, mate. I'll try and refresh the screen so you can see that come up on the super chat goal. My advice, so I was fortunate that I didn't need to audition for the Magic Circle. I was invited in kindly by a friend. But if I was to give advice in general, is I would go in there and I would perform to them, and this is so much harder than it is for me to say, but don't perform to them like they're magicians. I would perform to them like they're laymen, right? So I would go. I would. So that by saying that, I would mean. Oftentimes, like when we're magicians, I've been guilty at this too, right? I remember Eric Jones was somebody who said like, stop, perform it to me like I'm a layman, and it made me like sort of rethink a little bit. And what I mean by that is like, if you're gonna do any routine, don't just rush through it like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna have you select a card, put it back in, like you know what's going on here, you know what's going on, like just perform it like they're a layman, as if they've never seen magic before, even though you know the magicians do that. And I would try to structure a routine that obviously makes sense, but that ties into itself. So for me, for example, I would, like when I perform magic, if I'm going to do like a little walk around set, and I'm just trying to get the screen to refresh here. My overlays here. For example, I would start with a bill effect, right? Like you guys have seen my pencil through bill effect, right? So I teach it on the channel if you want to go learn it. Maybe I'd start with something like that, and then using the bill, I could do a bill through rubber band effect, and then I could transition from the bill through rubber band to a bill through pencil using the same object. So, and then I can do it into the rubber band effect. I'm just talking about like generally performing there. And what I mean by that is like doing like 3 or 4 different types of tricks. So I'm doing a bill trick, a pencil trick, a rubber band trick, a pencil and rubber band trick, but using them all to like melt into each other. I think that's always quite interesting. And there's typical advice, which is you want a fast opener, like a middle-ish routine which has got a good kicker. and then a big ending, right? Which is a standard like magic routine, but it's always nice to try and use a callback. So if you introduce something at the beginning, which is going to be your fast opener, maybe for example, the fast opener is that you have a deck of cards and you shake and the box appears on the deck of cards, right? And you say, oh, we're going to restart or whatever. So it's a standard appearing box effect. Place the box on the table, do some effects. And for your finale effect, call back to that box on the table, so that that's like a typical callback, but also it can be part of the big finish too. So maybe, I don't know, the signed card very perfectly vanishes, and then you point at the end. You say, remember at the very beginning we placed this here. But it's not about making this box at the beginning part of the thing. Like, before I begin, I'm going to place this box down, right? And then you use it in the finale. It's a better way of doing it is to use it as like a throwaway thing. So it's not like the focus. So you, like, for example, you make the deck reseal into the box, boom. We'll come back. Don't even say we'll come back to it later. You just place it down. Do everything, and when you got your big finish, then be like, oh, you remember that. So it's drawing attention to something without stating the obvious. You know, when you watch a movie, I always think a bad movie or a sign of a bad movie is when they very obviously have to tell you or point out certain things that don't need to be pointed out so much, and better movies are when the hints are a bit more subtle. You know what I mean? And I think magic like that can always be much more powerful when you're just giving subtle nods and letting the audience sort of catch up a little bit along the way. So that's what I would say in terms of the audition is think about callbacks, so coming back to something at the end, but don't make it a big obvious one. And then use elements, so try and tie in, if you're going to use multiple different objects or whatever you're going to use, try and tie them all together. And then look at what the common denominator for each thing is, and then make it. I don't know what just happened to my screen, but I'm gone. There I am. And then, so did that part of the question, first of all, did that part of the question help you? Hopefully it did. And then, so in terms of fooling magicians, I think magicians are easier to fool than laymen at certain times, because you can, there's a couple of different ways you can fool magicians, right? You see me do a lot of magician foolers, or attempt to do a lot of magician foolers on the channel. So one of the ways you can fool magicians, which is the way I don't recommend, is the way that is is using things to specifically try to throw them off. For example, if I take this card, this is a better example. So how many of you guys know the center double? You do this, take it out, place it in, and it's back on top. And that's using a center double, right? Where you take two cards, so 1, 2. As they come out, they square badly, and it's 2 cards, right? So an attempt at, like, a bad way to fool magicians is to use something like that against them, which is to take out a center double, but then really it's just 1 card. And what you're using is their previous conditioning against them. So another way of doing that is to take a card, lose it into the deck, put it into classic palm, and then the card's gone. Now, to a layman, that move is nothing. But to a magician, we're conditioned to think that they're palming, which it means nothing to a normal person. I think that's a lazy way to fool magicians. It's to basically, like, sort of play them at their own game. They think that, like, by doing telegraphing, the best way to fool magicians is to, and I'm trying to think of the most interesting, or the most succinct way to phrase this, is to get rid of all that in general, right? Is to approach a piece of magic completely like a magician wouldn't. So one thing I talked about years ago is, and I won't go into this in full detail, but magicians, when they do, and this is a baseline example, but when magicians do total sold card piece by piece, they will always start by doing perfect folds, and then they come up, and then they put the pieces together, and they do this, and then they do that, and it's all very much like robotic. It's all very, like, modular. So they come up and they do the classic moves, and they got all this. So when you think about magicians, we're all looking for those moves we can recognize, because it's what we do, right? If you're going to fool a magician with a piece-by-piece TNR, for example, get rid of everything they think about with the moves. Don't handle it like a magician would. Just take the card, tear it, and then put the pieces back like you would really put the pieces back. Boom, boom. And what I'm trying to highlight here is that I'm not using magic-y moves. I'm not using magic-y placements. All these things are telegraphing moves. And what I mean by that is that it's different to just standard fooling them with pretending to palm. You want to sort of throw out the textbook. And it's the same with, do I have a coin on me? With like coin magic, for example. Every magician knows when you do this, this means that I'm going to do a French drop, right? I'm basically telling you that I'm telling you the effect before I do it. I'm telling you the method before I do it. I was doing the Magic podcast live on stage at Blackpool, and this was a really interesting moment that happened. Because we've never put any footage out of it. I was asking Craig, could he explain what he saw with the Michael Chatelain coin and bottle, right? So what was the effect to everyone there? And he did this. So he didn't have it with him. He just had his bare hands. He said, oh, it was amazing. And what you do is there's a bottle that's empty, and you take a coin and you hit it into the bottle. And I said, oh, well, brilliant. You just told everyone that the coin is false transferred. So it's not actually, the method isn't, you just told everyone that the method isn't a signed coin because of the false transfer. So because it's so in our nature, we've got all this muscle memory built up from doing these classic moves that even explaining a trick to everyone, he did the false transfer. And that's no reflection on Craig. We all do it. I do it all the time. So my advice is when it comes to fooling magicians is, if I'm going to do a coin vanish, for example, I'm going to start by holding a coin, not like a magician. I'm going to hand a coin, or ask someone, hey, can you just get me a coin? And watch how a normal person that doesn't know magic handles a coin, and use that as my baseline. So if I ask, I don't know, I'm not a normal person, but maybe they would reach into their pocket. So maybe they'd reach into their pocket, And they'd go, okay, do that. So maybe that's my stuff. I'm using coin magic as an example, but that's my starting position. Not up here, not like this, not 3 coins spread at my fingertips. Because all those moves tell the judges or whoever the magicians are that are going to be judging you, you've essentially told them all the method before you've even done the trick. Because and I'm talking to Alex Bow specifically here because you're asking about magician foolers, right? So things like this, like pushovers, tell magicians what you're going to do before you do them. So try to think about, first of all, with your handlings, what are all the little pieces that magicians would do, or what's every move that you have in your set that you would do, and get rid of it. So, there's a really nice move which is a magic move, but most people do double lifts like this, right? They pick up a few cards at the back and they do that. Okay, that's the double lift, and you're all certain it's double lift. There's this one double lift out there, which, if done correctly, just looks like this. Which is just such a beautiful move because you just turn the card over. Now that to me is much better than these types of things, you know? So just think about whatever's in your act, get rid of, maybe even ask a layman to run through the effects, or tell, like if it's a mentalism act, and like think about every moment that something happens and ask a layman to just run through it, tell them, okay, I want you to write your name down on a card now, or pretend to be me, the mind reader, and in my act I have somebody write down a word on a business card, and then I fold it up and get rid of it. Ask a friend to do that for you, and then watch how they would normally fold it up instead of doing it like a magician or a mind reader would. And because what you're doing, as opposed to pretending to do moves when you're not, like this, and pretending to do doubles and things, which I think is not the right way of doing it. I think it's like a sneaky way of fooling magicians. You're getting rid of the foundations. When we can tell these moves before they happen, right? If you don't give the judges or the magicians the foundations, then they're not ahead of you. And if they're not ahead of you, you're ahead of them. And when you're ahead of them, they're playing catch up. And that's when you have these big exploitation zones for fooling to come in. And I hope that makes sense. But that's really the starting point for me when it comes to fooling magicians, is getting rid of those those cornerstones that they rely on to get ahead of you. So think about your magic that you do, and think about getting, it's almost like burn the textbooks in a way, because obviously, and I don't mean that like literally or about all of magic, but you're not gonna, unless you're gonna do a false thing where it's like, right, I'm gonna false take the coin, and then you're just playing with them and they don't really know if you're just trying to catch them out with a move. But the moment you see this, one or two things are going to happen. I'm either going to do a French drop, right, into my hand, or I'm going to do like a spider vanish, which is a false French drop to trick you because you know what the French drop, right? But if I went, okay, I'm going to take the coin and make it vanish now, like a spectator, like why do we pass coins from one hand to the other? That's only magicians really do that, right? If you're going to vanish a coin, you'd have it here, and it would go. I just threw that on the floor. So I don't know. Maybe I'm rambling too much, but that's my thinking on magician foolers, and I hope it helped a little bit. And feel free, Alex, if you've got any more questions like that, ask it below. But do you guys agree, or do you think I'm just going off on a tangent? And also, yeah, Alex, good luck for the audition. I think you're going to smash it. You seem really passionate. You're always here. You're always asking questions. I always think the people that have the best chances that are going to succeed are the most interested. The people that are the most curious, the thirst to learn. And you always seem like you are asking questions that want to better yourself. So I have full confidence in you, mate. Oh, another super chat coming in. Jason Yocham. $5. Yo, drop some fire emojis and drop some eye emojis to Jason. I seen this comment and I didn't reply to it. I put up a really quick story. What's it called? A short today. I knew there was a flash there, and Jason commented saying, "You flashed, lol." I was gonna comment something back saying like, "Tell me you're a magician without telling me you're a magician." But fair play, dude. Thank you so much. Drop some fire and some eye emojis in there for Jason. I appreciate that, man. Okay, let me catch up with some of these comments. Here we go. Jose Frias says, "What's some simple tricks you can recommend to someone who doesn't have any training? I'm looking for a good icebreaker." Well, since we got a coin here, I'll show you a fun icebreaker. If icebreakers, I always think of I think of someone asking, can they borrow a cigarette lighter or whatever. So let me grab a bigger coin so you guys can see. Here we go. All right, where are we? So, can we all see on camera? I'll show you an example of a coin move. It's all in good fun, says Jason. I know, man. I genuinely thank you for commenting. I love all the comments. I'll show you a coin move. This maybe will help Alex, depending on the style of magic you do as well. Which isn't going to telegraph the method. So, for example, telegraphing the method. And this can be used in a certain amount of ways as an icebreaker. If somebody was going to ask to borrow a lighter, you can apply the same method to something like that. I don't know. But here we go. It's just an excuse me to show you this thing. But so normally with a coin, people would do this sort of thing, right? So here's a nice sort of non-magician-y effect. If I take out this coin, which is let's hold it here. Whoa. And you could change it into like AirPods or into a cigarette lighter. Or anything. So if somebody asks you, do you have a lighter they can borrow? You can just have it palmed in this hand. And as you say, oh, sorry, I don't have a lighter. I have this coin, though. You can change it. Or let me show you it better. Maybe this is the wrong angle. This is really more of a real-life thing, and the angle's better up high. Like, up at this angle is the better, like a viewer angle. But it's a nice move where you can bring a coin out, and you can show it, and say, oh, actually, I'll put it in this hand, and make it vanish. So what's happening is that as you bring the coin out and display it, it's not very shiny either. I'm going to just place it in this hand. But what's happening is that as I keep my fingers secretly in the pocket, and as I bring my hand out, kind of normally, like when you bring a coin out, you do that. I'm just allowing the coin to drop back into the pocket. But if you do it correctly, I'm with the right like sort of timing and like sort of relaxation, it can be ultra thin. Let me get a better coin because that's too dark to see. Hopefully this is a bit brighter. Is that a bit brighter? That's better, right? So, wrong angle, yeah, probably. Something like that, which is a super easy coin vanish, but it gets away from these sorts of things, which is just, I'm telling you the method before I even do the trick, right? Or this, everyone knows the method before I even do it, or that. But if someone asks to like borrow a lighter as an icebreaker or anything, say, oh sorry, I don't have a lighter on me. What do I have here? And it doesn't have to be a coin. This can be anything else. I've got a coin. Or maybe I do have a lighter. I can change it into one, and you're really clean and open. That's one thing you can do as like an icebreaker. That was a really bad angle for me. Thank you for the heads up. But in terms of magic, I don't know, ice-breaking magic effects. I always do crazy, or as much as I can, I tend to try and do crazy man's handcuffs because there's so many. So I've talked about this a few times, but I do crazy man's handcuffs with rubber bands as the first trick because it does a few things. If you bring out a deck of cards, people can say, "Oh, I've seen that before," and then you're already like onto like a negative patch with them. But as soon as you say, and I never do, when I do crazy mans, I never do it in my hands. I only do it in their hands, right? So I say, okay, I'll show you something. Any rubber bands? I got some rubber bands here. Point your fingers like this and hook them in. Instantly, people are like, what? I've never seen a magic trick like this before, which is a nice way to start it, right? So I instantly say, point your fingers like this and hook them in. So people are like, okay, and now they're holding this rubber band. Then I hook mine over it, and they're like. The other thing to know is that it's all, when you do that, for me, it's all at head height, right? So instead of doing a magic trick as an icebreaker and that no one's looking at your face, this is all down here, which is all like weird and out of sight, suddenly now it's a lot more. It's everyone can see you, and the framing of it is up high. Just trying to reset this a little bit. So suddenly now you're in this position. The band's hooked over, and it's there. It also happens to be a really good, really fooling trick when done correctly. So it then, when the magic happens, you do get people going like, whoa, ow. And suddenly when people look over, you're all in this weird position of like hands up, all happening here. And I think it's just a great opener for so many different reasons. So, like a good opening effect. And for anyone who doesn't know Crazy Man's, I'll grab some rubber bands. Just to really drive it home a little bit. You can learn this on YouTube. There's a million different sources for it. But Crazy Man's looks like this. 2 rubber bands go in there. They're linked. You can see they can't come through the center, through the tops or the bottoms. But if you find just the right spot, they'll unlink. I don't know if that was very good. So again, you see how the bands are quite, you can see they like I can't come through the sides, middles, the tops, anywhere they're just stuck. And then it'll unlink. So that's Crazy Man's handcuffs. You can go and find it on YouTube. If you want to learn it, I think most of us know what it is though, out there. And I am trying to get the chat update because we have upped the super chat thanks to Jason. Come on, reload. Please reload. Somebody like really needs to help me get better at doing these things. In the meantime, I'll answer some questions. They're coming in. Mike Tyson McHale. I just joined the video. Sorry if you already answered this. Did you name your awesome Cognito Maxim Dex trick? I'm torn on it. I'm so proud of the effect. I haven't decided on the name yet, which is a first. I'm really like torn on the name. So I haven't picked a winner yet because I haven't decided on the name. I'm down to 3 names out of all of them. There was one, I think, by Dale Rubio, which was Synergy. I really liked Synergy as the name, so it might be that. I'm thinking anyway. What do you guys think of that one anyway? I know a lot of people put the name, any name that had blank in it, I had to dismiss because I don't like tricks with a ending is suggested in the title, because if you're at a convention, someone says like, oh, show Billy Joe Bob the blank deck trick, and then you're like, well, kind of just spot the ending. So most of the comments had like blank something in them, and they were, just to let you know, they were all dismissed. I'm so sorry. Oh, Elwin White. Yo, Elwin, thank you so much, dude. There's no comment from you. Yo, Elwin has just put a super chat in. Man, drop some fire emojis for Elwin right there. Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate that, dude. Wow. Oh, I can see a comment actually. Hi, Lloyd. I wear bracelets like yours on the right hand with all wired bits on it. Do you know any tricks to bring it into play? Do I know any bracelet tricks to bring them into play? I do know one. Oh, will it work with these? No. Which trick do I know with a bracelet? Well, I used to do one, but I think this bracelet's going to break. But there's one thing you can do with a bracelet, which is like the ones with the elastics on it. And I think this one's going to snap if I do it. So since you give a super chat, I'll give it a go. I'm just setting it up for you, Elwin. But wait, Elwin, is that a Welsh name I hear? Let me know. Let me try. I'm just setting this trick up for you. That's why I'm fiddling down here. Da, 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 da. Ugh. How is this so hard to do? I don't realize. Okay. Oh, this is not going to go well at all. I need to prep this more. But it's basically... you can have the bracelet like this, and if you pull the beads around and stretch the elastic over your finger, I'm just going to show you the method instead, then you can make it look like the bracelet is not around your finger, so it's like this, right? If I put a twist in it for now, you'll get a better idea of what I mean. There's part of it breaking off. So, see how that looks like it's not around my finger? It just looks like it's in the palm of my hand. So you can get somebody to hold your middle finger like this. And you say, watch the bracelet and hold the finger. And then when you release, you can get it to link through the finger. So it's like a quick thing you can do. I don't do it, as you can see, the terrible set, but it is a trick that you can do with a bracelet. I wonder if you can do this. I'm going to pencil somewhere. I'm trying to think. I'm going to try. Oh, look at that. I just broke it. That was for you, Elwin. Well, what I was going to say is, if you know Liquid Band. Yes, from me dad. That's a great name, Elwin. If you know this trick, you put a pencil through a rubber band. Let me get the angle here. And then you can melt it through. If you've got an elastic bracelet, I think that would work with that. I'll try. Let me see if I can show you guys this one more time. I love this effect, by the way. So, pencil, rubber band. Pencil goes through the rubber band like this. So you can all see. And then, which way is the best way for you? Melt it through. So if you guys know that, I think it's called Liquid Band by Vinnie Marini. That's where I learned it from anyway. You can get it to go through the other way as well. Then you could probably get that to work with a bracelet that has elastic in it. Yep, got it from my dad. Elwin, do you live in Wales? Or just a Welsh name? Okay, let me go through here. Oh wow, there's a few comments I missed after Alex's comment. That was any simple tricks. Okay, what's your go-to marked deck effect? Pete and JD says, my go-to marked deck effect is from Mark Elsden. And it's where the spectator, it's actually an amazing effect from Mark Elsden. You have the spectator, you have a script on your phone in your notes, and you hand the spectator a deck, and they read this. So basically, they perform an effect on you. I won't tell you the method and the full thingy of it, but basically, you hand the spectator a deck, and they read this script, and they're like, "Hello, nice to meet you. I am Tim, and I am going to show you a magic trick. I'm going to now shuffle the cards," and the spectator shuffles the cards. I'm now going to ask you to select a card, and the spectator asks you. And you do this whole thing, and it's actually one of the most powerful tricks. Definitely most fun tricks to perform. And the core of it uses the Mark deck, but it's really about the script, and that's from Mark Elston. It's amazing. Jean Dynahet says, "Hey, why not Twitch?" I am very, when it comes to things like YouTube, I'm very tech illiterate. So Twitch is just a step too far for me, I think. Maybe in the future. Dr. John says, "Standard palm for the win." Alex says, "I was going to tell my story through magic from Grandad Show Me Things to being injured and learning magic as a lifeline. I just need to work on the tricks to do." Okay, how long is your audition, Alex? And what type of magic do you perform? Is it like mentalism, or is it like general magic, coin, card heavy? Let me know, because then you could try and script or structure something like that. Stu Batman said, "Smash that like button, amazing people." That would be helpful, thank you. Seto says, "Rest in peace, card." Tickety says, "Chris Ramsey did a video titled something like, 'This will only fool magicians, did some magic moves without doing the move.'" Yeah, exactly. That type of stuff isn't really magician foolery, isn't really I think that's what he was probably trying to highlight as well. But that's not the best way to fool magicians, by just using their own moves against them. I think you need to get to the core of the foundation of stuff and remove those moves, or the telegraphing. Nico Krenmeyer, maybe? "Do you know how the trick with a newspaper works? You tear the sheet, but the thema but at the end it's like it is at the beginning. I hope you understand." Yeah, Nico, that's a classic magic trick. I believe it was invented like the 1970s, I want to say. And it's a fairly common trick. It was actually one of the first tricks that was I had a bunch of tricks bought for me for my birthday one year, and it was one of the tricks included in there. And it's a fantastic piece of magic, and you can go. I don't teach other people's tricks on this channel. I don't expose other people's tricks on this channel. I didn't create that trick, so I'm not going to expose it. But I do. The question is, do I know how it works? I do know how it works, and you should go pick it up. It's quite common. I think you could probably pick it up on like a second-hand magic group, to be honest, for a fraction of the price that it used to be originally. Turjo said, I sent you email. I made the trick you made. Play the keyring trick on your channel, if you will. All right, I'll try and play that video at some point during this live stream, maybe. I think I've seen that. I'll hear an email come through. Bijoy Sarkar can get a deck of cards in India. Hi from India. I think you can get decks of cards in India. There's got to be magic shops there. Hello, and I love India. It's my favorite country in the world. Alex said, that's great advice. Thank you so much. Oh man, thank you, Alex. I hope the advice was good enough for you, my friend. All right, another super chat. Elwin, for your bro. Oh. Elwin, man, thank you so much, dude. Another super chat from Elwin for the broken wristband. Dude, you didn't have to do that. Thank you so much, man. Spare a moment of silence for the wristband. And drop some fire emojis for Elwin right there, guys. That was dope. Thank you, dude. We got Jay Waters. This is priceless stuff. I hope everyone's paying close attention. Jay, did you receive the winning deck of cards in the mail? I think you did. Kaylee sent them out to you. Join the stream. Oh yeah, the name of the trick. All right. I like using the Elms account, but how would you do that naturally? Tigger T, great question. That's a fantastic question from Tigger T. So, the Elms account is something I've spoken about before, not on this channel, but to Magic Friends. It's a massive reason why I don't do packet tricks so much. So, the first thing is I'm not going to show you how I would do the Elms account, but I'll talk to you about my process in how I would change up the Elms account, right? So, the Elms account, for all intents and purposes, is... So let's say we don't want to display a 7 of clubs face up, right? So this is the Elms account, and I'll do it badly because I'm not very good at it. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4 cards here. And secretly, I've hidden 1 face up card, okay? So again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Other than 1 hidden face up. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, why do I need to count to show that there's 4 cards? Of course, the reason you're counting is because you need something to tell the spectators 2 pieces of information at once, which is A, there's 4 cards, and B, they're all face down. And the only way you can do that is to... The easiest way to do that, right, is to do this. But because you can't maybe not do this, then magicians had to, Alex Elmsley had to find a way to create a move that would make sense for that. So, it depends on the routine, but some magicians just get lazy. And they just put the Elmsley count in their routine because that's just what they're used to. Which is okay, because the Elmsley count works. Twisting the aces is a trick that works as an effect, but for me, it's not the way I like to do things. So, depending on your routine, do you need to use it? And what I'm saying is, there's a million different methods, right? So, first of all, the fairest way of showing you have 4 face down cards is that, okay, or handing it to the spectators. So, if I would start there. I would think, right, how would it really look if I was just going to show I had 4 face down cards? It would look like that, right? I wouldn't even need to say anything, and they would believe that I have 4 face down cards. So then you think, well, I don't like this counting stuff. This doesn't make sense to me. That is as soon as I start doing that, every magician, it's just not right. So what you could do is, if you need to hide, so we're gonna use the 7 of clubs all the way through this. I need to hide a card face down, right? So what if another way of doing it is this? So I have 4 face down cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, put them in your hand. And just like that, I've hidden the face down card and ditched the fourth card. So what I'm doing here is, I've got that 7 of clubs, face up, held as a double. So this is a double right here. And I'm pushing over an extra card underneath it. So now I have 5 cards here. See, there's secretly 5 cards, but this one is being hidden. But look, instantly, that's a much more fair display. Look, I've got 4 cards. Can you hold your hand out for me? As I come back, I'm going to steal this card on top of the deck under the guise of squaring these up. Hold on to those, please. And you'll notice I've now got 4 cards only, and I've stole that one back. So and it doesn't have to be in that position. It can be second from the top or whatever. So I can have 1 card here, 1 card there, 1 card there, and show 4 cards, clean, fair, right? But really, this second one down is a double. So like I say, hold your hands out, or whatever I'm going to do. I don't even need to have hands held out. I can say, watch, I'm going to use these 4 cards to show you something pretty cool. Watch. I'll place the deck away, and now I can get 1 card to turn face over. Just like that. That, to me, is more and it might be me just overthinking it, but that's more magical than an Elmsley count, right? But what if you want to make it more fooling, right? There's got to be better ways to do it, isn't there? So let's try something like this. I'm just grabbing some extra things here. So let's do 4 cards. We'll have the 5 of diamonds be a face up card that we need to hide, right? So face up card that we need to hide. And I'll have an extra card that we need to ditch. So we'll do this. Right. Okay, so this is not an economy of method, but this is a way to make it ultra clean looking without having to do any ridiculous magic moves for the sake of magic moves, okay? So I'm just setting up right here so you guys can see. Get the example. And of course I would practice this if I was actually going to use it in a routine. But essentially, I can show I've got 4 face down cards here. And again, I would ask them to maybe hold their hand out or do something. So I've got 4 face down cards. Hold your hand out for me. And I place the cards in their hand. And under that, I can get 1 card to turn face up and be left with 4 cards. And this is a bit trickier, but what I've got is a duplicate card. So 2 jokers to keep it simple. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll use a double for this card. I'll use a double for the joker here. Okay, so double. And then I've got a loose 4th card, which looks like a 4th card. So really, there's 6 cards hidden in my hand here, and this would obviously be it'd be better if this was like a 9 of clubs with a 9 of clubs duplicate or something. But I can show 4 cards quite openly, and now I'm going to place that loose card on the deck, and I'm going to flick that X card off. And as I square, it looks like nothing happens, but really, I've ditched these 2 cards on the face of the deck. And now I can hand them the cards, right? So that's one way of doing it, which is just to up the ante, just to make it more fooling or more fair looking for the sake of making it more fair looking. The other thing is, we often worry about adding these moves in as overproof. So, again, having 4 cards, and let's say we're in this position where we've got 1, we've got 2, 3, 4 cards. I'm going to ask a spectator I'm going to place the cards away. Now, just because we're magicians, how many of you, if any of you are following me along at home, how many of you are just dying to Elmsley count them cards? Because you just, muscle memory, even I have this urge to want to false count them. Don't. It's like you know when magicians bring out a deck of cards and they say, I'm going to show you some magic using this deck of cards, and they're not a trick deck. Well, then suddenly all your audience go, Wait, there's such thing as trick decks? What? I didn't know that. It's the same premise, right? If you're gonna do this, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch, I'm gonna show you something using these cards. That's it. If I keep saying to you, it's like we were talking about earlier, with the quick opener and using the box to call back to it later on for the finale, but without. The less you say, the more the audience can connect the dots in their head, and the more they feel like they've caught you out. So, what I mean by that is, if I've done that, I got 4 cards, I'm not going to then overprove it and say, okay, 4 cards, put the deck away, 1, 2, 3, 4. They've just seen their 4 cards. I don't need to count them again to prove to them that there's 4 cards. If I've done my job correctly, they should believe me that there's 4 cards. And it's the same with... if you're going to do like magicians are dead set on having objects signed, but to layman it's a weird thing, and I think it's more powerful. For example, if you've got a duplicate card, right? If I'm really brushing through this for you, but if you're going to do a trick with a duplicate card, I think it's more impressive to have a subtle break in the card like that, or in both the cards even. So say this is a duplicate, right? I'm going to do a trick. And I'm like, boom, this is the card, or however it's going to be. But I'll say, all right, you've chosen this card. You've chosen this card. I want you to watch this card carefully because I'm going to do something amazing with it. I put the card on the table. I look for the box or an object to use. And I don't want to get it signed, right? Because it's going to be a duplicate card effect. I'm hoping that they notice the small insignificant tear or maybe an ink smudge on the corner. Something which is just little that... it seems like I haven't noticed, but they have. And then when it comes to this appears somewhere else and this is the duplicate and they can see the tiny tear, you won't believe how much more powerful that is than them saying, even having a signature on it is great, obviously, but it's just as strong when they think they've noticed something that you didn't. And that's their convincer. So they see like a smudge of ink or a tiny tear or like maybe a tiny fold in the corner of a bill. And it's basically you not overproving it. Having something specifically signed, and then when it reappears again, it's look, see, and it's signed. You're overproving things, and I feel like the real magic, the best magic lies in the tiny details and all the nuances. So when it comes to Tigger T's question about the Elmsley count, I would just keep it simple. Have you heard the analogy KISS, keep it simple, stupid? Keep it simple. Do something where you just show 1, 2, 3, 4 cards and put the deck away just like this. I ain't going to overprove it from here. I'm not going to do a false count. I have my card in position face up. I have 4 cards. I would just start my approach to that. And then depending on the routine, I would continue my method approach to that along those lines. To get rid of things. So I hope that makes... I know I went around the houses a little bit there, but did that help in any way? Or was that me again just waffling on? I can see so many comments coming in. I'm so sorry if I've not responded. So... okay, I need to catch up with these comments. Elwin White says, pretend they're naked, Alex, in terms of their audition. Great advice. Brant Henderson says, greetings from Ohio. Sorry I'm late for the service. Oh man, I'm so jealous of you living in Ohio. It seems to have such a good magic scene there, dude. Alex says, I did have 2 magicians fooled with your crazy mads that you do without the move. Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's playing on the magicians knowing the effect, and it's a fun way to fool magicians. If I was going on like Penn and Teller Fooler, I would avoid that type of method, I think. But since you're doing a magic circle routine, it might be a nice, fun starting effect to open with, because depending on your story and how you're going to present it, you could be like, oh, I know you are the judges of the magic circle. You've probably seen hundreds of people audition in front of you and thousands of magicians that do magic, that have performed magic in your lifetimes, and I bet they all do a lot of the same things, such like the Crazy Man's Handcuffs, or coin vanishes, card tricks. I like the Crazy Man's Handcuffs. I was going to perform it to you today, but I realised you've probably seen that trick till you're sick in the face. So I'm going to try and show it to you as a quick opener without the move. And as you do it, you can do that, which could be a nice starting thing, and it could lead into other stuff. Rich Relish says, Michael Vincent had an Alakazam DVD called Synergy. I'm biased as I submitted command. Oh, damn. I think we're at the point in Magic, though, where so many things have the same... There's only so many one-name ideas out there, but Tigger T's idea was Lloyd Silver's Tokan. I like that. That's a good one. King OK says, Lloyd is your biggest fan, to my knowledge. Please, could I get a copy of Cognito? You are one of my biggest fans, I think. We'll see what we can do. Teachers things that work. Is there a release date for your amazing card index? We were aiming for September. I think it's going to be more like October now. That's about as best as an estimate I can give you. But I have some exciting things with the card index that I thought about over the weekend that I want to add to it as bonuses. And I can't say any more, but I'll have an update for you guys in the week. Stu says, can you do Brendan Rodriguez's band trick where he has a band in his finger and they end up interlocked between his fingers? I don't know it. I don't know what he does at all. I've seen things like it where it's like, what is it you do? You kind of like have a band like this and then it's all interlocked really quickly, but I don't really know how to do that. Like, well. Kids live in North Wales. Please don't ask me to spell it. Yo, Andrew Niner, what's going on, buddy? How you keeping, pal? What's up, dude? Brant's near Columbus. Nice. Near Cleveland. Alkbo, have you seen Lava Coin melt through card that Illusions have just advertised? It looks like the one you made on your channel. I have actually. That's a friend of mine, Antonio. It's his effect, Lava Coin, and it's a completely different method. It's a crazy method, and like literally worlds apart. And those gimmicks are incredible. If you look at how he makes them, it's wild. I couldn't make a gimmick like that, and he's been doing that for years and years and years. So yeah, it's great. I love Antonio. Okay, I'm just catching up with some comments. King, okay, have you seen Danny Diorte's video of the albums account? I have seen it and it's hilarious. It's so funny. Grit Gruson. Hi there. Is the deck orange shimmering or does my screen play tricks on me? This is an orange. I only opened these today. I love them. They're orange cherries. Aren't you glad to ask that question? Where's the blur? Yeah, they're just orange, standard orange. I think my light is just reflecting off the card, but they're not shiny. They're just standing. They're they feel so dope. Mike Hughes. Lloyd, just got Cognito this weekend, and I showed a magician I know, and it blew him away. He didn't have a clue. Thank you so much. Oh, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, dude. Brian Henderson, like your A-can trick. Thank you so much. I'm trying to catch up. Oh, I can see Nathan Lindley. All right, you sexy git. Danny Goldsmith. Oh, yo, Danny. Danny Goldsmith in the chat. Yo, drop some fire emojis for Danny. Oh, and now I'm nervous because Danny's like the best living coin magician. I literally said this more than once on his channel. I love this. It's so nice to see more magicians talking about proper motivation. Oh, dude, it means a lot coming from you because you were literally the best of the best. The cherries are to die for. You taught us in a video, bro. I'm trying to keep up. Speaking of cherries, says Groot, have you ever thought of doing a trick based on the cherries cards? Licking one just to appear in your mouth or snapping one to fall. I created a card peek box device. You can see it on my channel, on the Murphy's channel, purely for the cherries playing cards. They said there was a big cherries event coming up, and could I create something? So I created that from the cherries box. So I did that. Yeah. The smudge idea works great for billet work too. Yeah, totally. Speaking of suggesting tricks, what's your take on that? That people you don't know come up to you and ask, can you do this? Have you ever thought of that as a trick, and what if, and so on? I don't mind it at all. It sort of comes with the territory of being somebody who creates magic. I'm approached constantly about, doing this and that. The only times I ever get slightly irked about people coming up to me saying that. And Danny says some delicious waffles. I hope you're eating some delicious waffles, Danny, because I am eternally jealous of that. I would smash some waffles right now. Is when people suggest tricks to me, and I remember specifically on Cognito, at the end of the instruction, or even throughout, I'd suggested a bunch of different effects you could do with Cognito, and still with other things, but to this day, and like Lux as well, people will message on the Facebook groups or message me directly saying, hey, did you know you could do this with Cognito, or have you ever thought about doing this with Lux? I say, yeah, in fact, I mean, I actually teach it in the instructions. And then some people get a little bit pissed off about that, which is always a bit of a weird one. But no, I love it. I love the challenge. I love it when people suggest things that I don't think about, because I think every idea is a good idea, even the ones which people would argue to say they're terrible. I think every idea is a good idea, and I think there's so many transferable concepts between styles of magic. For example, some people don't like stage magic and they turn their nose up at like stage levitation acts, but I always think, well, there's got to be something good there. Maybe you could use one of the methods from the levitation to vanish a coin, or to do coin in bottle, or well, what about this method for a metamorphosis box? Could it be used? Could the method be used for mentalism? Because there's crossover points there within methods. So I think I just love to hear people suggesting things and show me things, because I think there's greatness in everything. Ticket T says, thanks Lloyd, that was not a handling I would ever have thought of. Oh great, I'm so glad that helped you, Ticket T, with the Erdnase, with the Elmsley count stuff, because I didn't know if I went off on the wrong tangent too far. Patrick Dehardt says, late as always. Okay, so happy you're here, Patrick. Mike says, my pet hate has always been the word ordinary deck, ordinary cup, etc. No need to ever say that. Yeah, exactly. I think I'm totally with you, Mike. There's so much more to be said without saying anything, and let them come to their own conclusions. And if they do ask you then, is that a trick deck? Then, or unless it is a trick deck, which is okay, you can still get out of that. But unless they specifically ask you certain questions, then it's okay to, then you can say, well, it's not, and then handle the deck or whatever. Okay, we'll see what we can do as a step forward. Pete and Jay. Okay, so what's the difference between loops and ties? I don't know. I was looking at these the other day. I don't know the difference between loops. I think are loops pre-made invisible thread loops, and ties are it's like a system you make yourself. I don't know. I don't do any thread work. I should do. I keep saying I should do. But I don't want to be one of these people that tries to give advice or opinions on stuff I know nothing about. I know what I know, or I'm confident in some knowledge, but I know when I'm talking rubbish, and I wouldn't want to try and get in on that. Alwyn, why does Pen have a red fingernail and some have a black one? It's some magic circle thing, and is it some magic circle thing? And are you a member? I don't know why he wears different color fingernails. I think it's pretty cool, actually. I always like I like that Michael Jackson wore white fingertip gloves and white socks to highlight his fingers to people and his feet to people who are further back, so his dancing was like popped more. So I don't know if it's something like that. It could be used as like a reverse psychology thing, or it could even be used as part of a script. I paint my finger red because I bet you're all focusing on why my fingernail's red, but it allows me to do the secret move. I don't know. It could just be something personal to him, like Nelly who wears, Nelly the rapper that wore a bandage or a band-aid on his face because his brother was in prison. Could be something. I don't know. I'm not accusing Penn's brother of being in prison. Okay, catching up. Danny says, thanks, brother. That's some flattering praise. Have me on one of these days. Oh, dude, Danny. Yes, so I will, if you're up for it, I would love to have, the Waffles comment was in response to you asking if you were waffling on. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, guys, do you want Danny Goldsmith on the channel one of these days? Drop some heart emojis on here if you look. Danny, that would be an honor to get you on one of these live streams. Literally, you're one of my favorite people on earth, not just as a magician, just in general. Like the very limited time we've spoken together, I always come away feeling like fresh. I can't explain it. You just make me feel really like good as a human being. So yeah, I would love to if everyone else would love to get you on here. I can't do next Sunday because next Sunday is actually, I'm trying to get my power charger. Next Sunday, the 28th of August, is my actual birthday, so I may be pre-recording next Sunday service, depending. So I'll let you guys know in the week. Because I'm turning 34, woo! And then the following Sunday, I may be away, so I'll keep you guys posted. But then we'll go from there. But Danny, dude, guys, you would be in for the biggest treat ever if Danny Goldsmith came on here and did some of his coin magic. I mean, I feel like I'm never gonna show you guys coin magic again because it's just there's no point because he's that good. Apologies for that. Midge says Kit Kat time. I would murder a Kit Kat chocolate bar right now. Leon Aitkins, any info you can share about Pro Caps? Yeah, I don't really like to like pimp my stuff out, but Pro Caps is coming out this month, maybe. That's the packaging for it. You can see. I designed it myself, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's not, for the first time in my life, it's one of those projects where it's not like, I'm not expecting this to be crazy hype. I'm not expecting this to have people screaming from the rooftops and go crazy. We all know the nickels to dimes, that the trick with like the little shell of coins. I think that's a great trick, and it's one of the tricks that got me into magic. It just blows my mind that it was never made out of bottle caps. So I just made it out of bottle caps. I'm trying not to show the instruction link. Craig Petty teaches 2 hours of material on there. He's got like 11 routines with this stuff, like coin matrices. So it's a great ending for coin matrix, a tournament restored card effect, and yeah, this is basically it. You put a quarter or a 10 pence coin on the shell. The bottle cap goes over it, and we made sure they look like realistic bottle caps, and then you can vanish the stack of coins or make them change into certain things. And when I was creating this, I was like, what could be the bang ring? And then I realized like Coke bottles have a red ring attached to them, right? So when they have the when they're on, you have to snap the red thing. So that's the bang ring too. And it comes with a, and I'm gonna say this and then stop talking about it. With a, I'm gonna hide the instruction link, but it comes with 2 colors, so red and blue for water bottles or like standard sort of Coke bottles. Yeah, that's it. So super excited. And it's coming out soon. We have them all. We've had them ready for like a year, I think. A year they've been sitting there. Okay, so I'm gonna go back up to questions. Where are we? Oh my God! Look at all the love flowing in for Danny. Gotta get Danny on here. Jeebus. Midge says, tell us about the great ice cream disaster of 2022. I took my son for ice cream yesterday, and I just had like no supplies with me, just my son and my clothes. Like I didn't have wipes and stuff. And he had a mint ice cream, and we got like 6 foot steps away from the ice cream store. And he dropped it all over me and all over himself, and we both looked like the Incredible Hulk. And there was loads of people around because I live in a tourist resort, and we were by the beach, and we were both smothered in mint ice cream, basically like head to toe. And I had to do the walk of shame home with no wet wipes for the baby. But super chat coming in. What is going on, Alex Bow? What? Craig only doing 2-hour tutorial? Yo, drop some fire emojis in the chat for Alex Bow. He's just given another super chat. What an absolute legend. Alex, dude, thank you so much, man. You're an absolute hero. Thank you. Drop some fire, drop some love emojis for Alex there. Yeah, Craig's doing a 2-hour tutorial on it. Basically, when I created Pro Caps, I came up with it, I was like, well, I feel so bad saying created. I just thought it would be a great idea to make those brass caps out of bottle caps. And everyone I told about it was like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Now, I'm not saying I've got a great idea, but everyone was like, oh, this needs to be made. And then I told Craig, he was like, oh, send them to me now. And I was like, why? And it turns out he actually uses them a lot in actual like real world performance, because most magicians use them when they start getting into magic. And I figured it would be a great thing for newcomers, and everything's about organic magic these days. And I thought, well, now people who are just starting out in magic can get their hands on these, and they wouldn't feel they wouldn't feel like they're doing like a lame magic trick by using brass caps, because they can just use these, which look a bit more normal now, right? And then Craig was like, oh my god, I actually still use these in my pro set. So I got him some, and then he had like 11 routines straight ready to go. So that's why Craig's involved, because I just had the concept for them, and he was like, well, I genuinely use them, so let's do it. Ellen White, I subscribe to Grace Boy. He is good. You and the good wife still my favourite. Oh, Elwin, I've always loved you, my friend. Hey, Danny, if you're ever in Colorado, you should let me buy you a coffee sometime. Wow, yeah, that would be so good. Oh, you're in Vermont now. Oh, wow, that's close to Adam Wilbur, I think. I think Wilbur's in Vermont, Danny. Thanks, Dan Lloyd. Now I have to leave to make some food and lunch for tomorrow. Take care. Have a super nice day. Take care, folks. Thank you, Grit, so much. Thanks for dropping in, Grit. Always love having you on here, dude. Stu says, Penn paints his fingernail red as a tribute to his mum. That's amazing. That's incredible. So it's like a tribute thing. I was kind of right about the Nelly. Just winging it. Wow, so much love. Boggle asks, is the Burglass effect fake? Absolutely not. No, I don't believe it's fake. No, it's not fake. David Burglass released a book and explains it, and I'm not going to get into his method or methods. That's probably as much as I should say about that right there. Penn said once that Tickety says Penn said once about his mom, and that it's now about his daughter. Like when she was little, she thought it was dedicated to her. Oh, that's cool. Danny said, thanks, brother. It would be my pleasure to come hang out with you. I feel the same. I've always enjoyed it. Oh, dude, too kind. Honestly, too kind. Mess you on WhatsApp. Okay, great. Hell yes. Yeah, Tickety with a full answer there. Ellen White says, 34, I have socks older than you, lol. Surprisingly, most of my clothes are the same age as me, because I hate shopping for clothes, so maybe we have some similar age clothes. It was an interview. Vishal Valmiki, open prediction effect, please. I love that, just like, please, open prediction effect. I don't really think I have any to show open prediction effects. I used to have one, but I think the method I came up with was pretty standard, so I don't really have anything to show for open prediction. Zero, I think I'm saying your name correctly, he says, do you think there aren't enough magicians, coin magicians, or people in the real world performing coins? Yeah, I think coin magic is one of the biggest under participated areas of magic, and I think there's so many. I don't mean this in any. It's why I love Danny Goldsmith so much. There's so many. I think the reason why people don't do coin magic as much is that there's so many clones out there, and it seems like there's only so many coin effects. Whereas like card magic, we all know there's thousands of different plots and tons of different methods. And it feels like with coin magic, there's only a limited, or it seems like a finite amount of coin magic. That's why when someone like Danny Goldsmith comes along, who with his thinking, he's an inspiration to me in terms of destroying those foundations. He doesn't do coin magic like it should be done. He does coin magic like how it should look. And that gives him all this, it feels like he has this blue ocean territory where he's approaching, because his approach is so unique and different, he gets himself these, he manages to like come across or create these unique ideas because he's just approaching things differently. And if we had 20 more Danny Goldsmiths, I think coin magic would be the main focus of magic. And it's a darn shame that it's not, because I love coin magic, and I find like I always like, I feel lazy every time I do card magic, because it's just so standard these days. So yeah, I think I'm with you, man. Well, I don't know if I'm with you, but I think we probably agree that coin magic is massively underrepresented in magic. Midge Rain, who shot the project, says, my greatest achievement in magic, limiting Craig to 2 hours. Yeah, you can thank Midge for limiting the project to 2 hours for Craig. Andrew said, I think Wilbur's in Pennsylvania. Really? I always thought, I mean, I've worked with Wilbur for like 5 years. It was always Vermont that he lived. I didn't know he moved though. Crazy. Pete E and JD says, what are y'all's favorite way to ignite flash paper? I like to ignite flash paper using Electric Touch by Yigal Masika. Which is possible. There's videos of it on YouTube. Any coin through shirt idea? There's a great one from Rory Adams. I think it's an impromptu one. If you go to oneahead.com, it says so Rory's one of the world's best magic consultants, and he writes a blog, a really open blog. It's like a coffee a month to subscribe, and he teaches a really great coin through shirt on there. But I also love Double Deception by Mark Mason, where you take 2 coins, place them on top of a shirt, and pull one through. It looks like real magic. It's so good. It's because Zero said it's because of Instagram makes coin magic look only like vanishes. Yeah, that's the problem, and that's my issue with coin magic. I find it so hard to not just do coin vanishes or coin appearances. Things like Danny Goldsmith's like crazy man's coin cups, and the way he does his miser's dream, like as a walk, like crazy. Tickets, he says, you are almost catching up with the chat. You are usually very behind with answering as much as you can. Yeah, I'm trying to be concise to them. I don't want to stick around too long today. I'm so tired. I stayed up late to watch the boxing and the MMA last night, and I've been ill, so I'm like, oh. What coins you can do tricks with? With coins, you can do tricks that are like real magic, says Magic Jim. Yeah, 100%. People, when they see a good piece of coin magic, really question it, because there's not many avenues for method, when done correctly, that they can explore as a layman to find answers. That you get what I'm saying. And it's so visual. What's your favorite coin effect done with a quarter-size coin? Favorite coin effect with a quarter-size coin. I think my favourite coin effect with a quarter-size coin, which isn't just a vanish or something, is I love the coin in bottle. And one of the very first tricks I ever created was when I was 16 years old. It's a coin in bottle, completely impromptu, but it happens in slow motion, and the coin's in the bottle, no slits. And it's like probably the proudest creation I've ever had, I think. And I've actually filmed it as a tutorial for the channel, but it's going to go in the members section, because I just don't feel... I've never shared it before. I've only shared it to like select few, like very small amount of people in the entire time, since the entire time I created it. I just don't feel comfortable sharing it publicly, because I love it too much. So it's one of the videos I filmed and edited for the members channel, but it's a slow motion, impromptu coin and bottle that's left completely clean, and yeah, so that's probably my favorite trick, and it uses like a quarter-sized coin. And mind you, it depends on the country you're in, right? See, most of my coin stuff, this is the thing, I don't have much inspiration with coins. Most coin things I have are like coin vanishes. I have some fun methods for them, but it's mostly simple, like the coin vanish from the pocket, I find quite fun. The one that I've shown you guys, which sort of plays on magician moves a few times. Boggle said, is the think of a card trick real? Yep, 100% real. 100% real. I mean, like, I can have you think of a card and know what it is, and there's many different methods for it. Vishal says, do any witch hand coin effect? I don't, but Pete Turner in the last live stream, so if you look at the Pete Turner live stream that we did 2 weeks ago, Pete runs through a whole bunch of witch hand coin effects, and there's a fantastic one called Tequila Hustler by, again, Mark Elsdon. He's a fantastic creative magician, genius magician. What's up, Chris James? I can see you in the chat there, buddy. And it's one of the best impromptu witch hand coin effects out there. Seto asks, hi Lloyd, would you ever consider any televised competitions in the future? Nope, never ever. I've been asked many times to do TV, to be on TV. It's the last thing I would ever do in magic, next to competing at a magic competition. For me, like I've told you guys before, I try to block as many laymen from my social media as possible, and especially if they're from my hometown. I'm fortunate enough that I don't gig as a magician, so when people do see me do magic, and especially locals that don't know that I do it, and I've known them all my lives, it gives them that real sense of astonishment that they just like. It's like when Tony Chang said he always thought Hugh Jackman was American, and then he heard him speak in an interview, and he had an Australian voice, and that was like real magic to him. It blew his mind after knowing him for so many years. It's the same thing. I block as many laymen as I can from my social media, and I have separate lists on Facebook. And for me, like part of the reason like my magic is so well received, or like in my opinion anyway, by people that see me do live magic, is because they have no idea that I do magic at all. And so going on TV would sort of destroy that for me. And I have no interest in being famous. Absolutely. I know I run my YouTube channel. I enjoy the magic community, but I have absolutely zero interest in being famous. And it's really flattering when I get asked. Every time I get asked to do magic on TV and things, it's flattering, but I have no interest in it. Safongba says, why magic of top magicians far more different than traditional magic? Do you mean today's magicians, or just the best magicians are just so much better than standard magicians? I think a big reason why top magicians of today versus traditional magicians is because of the internet. I was saying this before, that I think the download world, or the download industry, is dying off in magic. When magic first came online 20 years ago, people hadn't seen a classic pass being done well. They'd only heard myths about it, or very select few people had seen the classic pass, or these magic like these classic routines that someone said, oh, you should see so and so's. Oh my god, you'd want to see their coin vanish, and you'd have to travel to conventions on the other side of the world to see somebody do it poorly before you'd ever see it. Now, since the dawning of the magic online, people get to see all these things, and that knowledge is power, and it means that people could see them and think, oh, maybe that wasn't as good as I assumed it would be, and then they can, like the potter and the sculptor, they can improve because they've got solid foundations now. They're not just working from a mental image that they've had. And I think that's why like top magic in general is so much more advanced now and better than it's ever been, is because of the internet. We've seen more. I also think it's why the magic I also think that there was such a boom that downloads of Dino Magic, because there's not much we haven't seen now, because we all of us collectively sort of binged every magic secret there was, or almost every magic secret there was. Take a tea. Have you ever done any fighting type of sports? Yeah, boxing. I was going to get into boxing or gymnastics before getting into magic. So I punctured my lung when I was 16, 15-ish. And I was boxing at the time. I wanted to do boxing, and I punctured my lung, and that's why I had to take a whole summer off. And I picked up magic again after being shown it as a child, and that's when I threw myself into magic, because I had for an entire summer. I went from being crazy athletic. I had a really good, an 8-pack, and which is crazy to think about. And I had to spend a whole summer off my feet till I got back into magic, really. But yeah, I love boxing. Love boxing. Punk BMX, what's going on, dude? I haven't seen you on here for a while. Hope the family are well. Nice to see the channel's blown up so awesome. Dude, I've missed you, Punk BMX. Thanks for coming back in. Ooh, coin and ball. Good. Yo, Chris James. Luke, not the devil. When can we sign up for the member section? Yeah, I was aiming for like August the 1st. I'm not going to have the member section live until it's really good. So I'm just taking my time with it. I'm not rushing. It's not for me to like make money. It's more about me putting up content that I just want to share with people who are super passionate, want to be members. It's just the gold stuff, but when it comes to like the best stuff, there's no rush in it. So I don't know when, sorry, but hopefully sooner rather than later. Elwin says, off my tea now, but it's been emotional. See you all later. Thanks, my friend. Oh, Elwin, what a contributor. Thank you for tuning in today, man. I really appreciate you coming on board today. It was great having you on here. My fellow Welsh named friend. Pete and JD, can we get a full performance of that impromptu coin and bottle? Yeah, not right now. but one day there'll be one. I might just I might just save it for the membership, but maybe one day. Have you seen Joshua J's new cylinder and coins? It's okay. Saw at Blackpool. It looks really good. I don't think I have. I'm not sure. Josh's trick releases tomorrow. I'll see it by tomorrow though. So I got that going with me. PT and JD asked, how did you and Kaylee meet? It's a great question. We met when we were in school, in comprehensive school, which is like junior or high school in America. We were about 12, 13 years old. I'd been misbehaving in class, and I'd been sent out of class. I'd been kicked out of the class that I was in for being naughty, and I had to go into Kaylee's class because she was in the well-behaved, like higher classes. And I was in there. We were talking and things, and we hit it off. And then not long after, we sort of had like a little in a bar. Like we were young. We would go to like local bars in my town, in my country. People would start drinking at like 14, 15, 16. So we had a moment then when we kissed for the first time. But then we travelled separate ways. Kaylee went off and travelled to Australia for 6 months and a bunch of different places. You guys know me. I went off and did my thing everywhere. And then I got invited to, so then years passed by, years and years and years passed by, and about 4 years ago, Dynamo invited me to his show in Cardiff. So I went and I sat in the VIP section, watched the show, and up on stage I thought, I recognize this person, and Kaylee and her sister got invited up to do PK touches live on stage with Dynamo. I was like, I recognize that girl, I swear I know her. And yeah, I've always had like the biggest crush on her. And anyway, so that show happens. Afterwards, me and Dee go get food. And after dinner, I go home and Dee tweets me and said, well, this is actually like more than 4 years ago. But he said, thanks for dinner, or thanks for coming to the show or something. And Kaylee seen that and was like, what? Lloyd Barnes from school all those years ago? How on earth? Because this is the thing. Kaylee loves magic. She was at the Dynamo show as a fan. That was a present for her from her parents. I think it was her parents and bought for her. And she like has like, before I met her, she had Darren Brown. She has Darren Brown books, DVDs, Dynamo DVDs. She genuinely loves magic. So she messaged me saying, "How on earth? What are you doing with your life? How do you know Dynamo?" So I sort of sent her a message back saying, I'm in the magic world a little bit, blah blah blah. And then long story cut short, I again went off around the world, and she went back to Australia for another 6 months, and eventually in, what was it, 2018 or 19? I'm terrible with the dates. We finally met up once again, just by chance, and from that moment, we knew that was it. Kind of crazy. Mad Paper People says, have you thought about blank face marked backs? I did a blank face marked back effect on my channel like a week ago. Boggle says, what made you start magic? I actually answered that right at the beginning of the stream, man. So if you want to hear about that, you can get into it. Maz Magic, do you play chess? No, everyone asks me, or not everyone, loads of people ask me, do I play chess? I don't, and it's purely because I'd get so obsessed with it. I know that I just wouldn't. I also don't think I'd have the patience either, but I would become very obsessed with something like chess, and I keep myself away from things like that. I know that I'm just... Hey Lloyd, this is from Cedo. Do you believe magic will come to a point where nothing is truly original? Every trick and premise would someday be invented, and it'd be harder and harder to create new things. Nope, not at all. Magic and science go hand in hand together. And oftentimes, throughout history, magic has been ahead of science. I don't think science will ever stop progressing and advancing. I don't think magic will either. And like, all it takes is something, for example, the world is moving to polymer bills now. I'm not sure if America is yet, but the UK certainly is. Which means that paper bill tricks are out the window for the UK. So now we have to create plastic bill tricks. So I have a bunch of things. So it's basically a blank canvas. I don't think the world's going to stop creating materials or things. Like when phones came out, suddenly smartphones then could be incorporated into your magic, and then apps were born, and apps can be incorporated into your magic. So I don't think so. I think it'll be harder to create within certain spaces. Like card magic might become, even more inflated than it is. But I have no worries about that. As long as humanity keeps moving on, it'll keep going. So reality TV guy says, everyone that does... Oh, actually, a funny story, Seto. I put up a card control. Actually, one of the very first videos I shared on the Magic Cafe, where I speak in the video, is me showing a card control. I think it was the Premier control, maybe about 10, 12 years ago. I know the magician, I know who it is, sent me a really, really arrogant message saying that I should have not bothered to create it. And he's a potentially well-respected magician. And I'm paraphrasing, but what he said was that Magic doesn't need any more card controls created, and that I was wasting my time. I should just stick to using the classics. And then I sent him back a quote that I'd read, and it was the who is it that, let me find the quote. Everything. So I sent him back this quote. Let me see. It's about from Charles Duell in 1899, that said, everything that can be invented has been invented. And then obviously how wrong he was about that. So I just sent him back that quote in a message and who it was by. Reality TV guy says, everyone that does anything on social media always say they don't want to be famous, but they can't help if people follow or subscribe to their content. Yeah, I totally get that. There's a complete difference though, where people that do social media magic are trying to get big famous names on TV. If I wanted to blow my channel up or I wouldn't do magic. If I wanted to become famous, I know that the way to grow big, because I used to work with Peter McKinnon and Chris Ramsey at Illusionist. I worked alongside them. I worked with Pete for years, with Ramsey for a year. Pete got famous, not with magic, but with photography tutorials. Ramsey got famous, not with magic, but with puzzles. Magic is not the way to get famous. I am, if I wanted to do that, I maybe I couldn't, I don't know if I could, but I know that there's other interests that I have that are far more global or far more mass appealing, that would get me more likes, that would get me more followers, that would get me famous. I don't care about that. I don't give a shit about that stuff. I only care about magic, and I love sharing magic. The big reason for me making this YouTube channel, as all the followers know, is that for years, all the magic I did was about business side of stuff. Everything became a transaction. Every trick I created was like squeezed out of me to be sold as a product. This is my canvas. This is my scratch pad for my ideas. This is where I share my magic for passion reasons only. If it blows up, great. If I have no followers, this channel still exists. And if I wanted to get famous, I wouldn't be doing this. So I get what you're saying, but I don't fall into that category of social media magicians that are doing it to get famous, because I know this ain't the way. I just love making and sharing magic. Chris James says, in your TED talk, you talk about a guy who bought your first trick. Who was that? Can you say, I don't know, but I have been trying to track them down. I don't know, but I'm trying to find it. Him. Alex Bow says, do you ever foresee a time with technology that someone could do a stage show without having to learn sleight of hand? Yeah. I know magic stage shows where people don't do sleight of hand. Mentalism, for a start. And also, I think like a lot of these illusion shows, a lot of the time, for a standard like illusion show, a lot of the time it's just the magician and standing there doing the moves to let the contortionist do a lot of the act. So that doesn't, obviously it requires other skills like timing, stage presence, and all these things that go in between, and understanding stagecraft. But sometimes they don't even need to use sleight of hand. He said, puncture lung sounds scary. I was born one kidney and wanted to do a contact sport. I ended up doing Olympic style taekwondo. No way, you stopped after hurting your neck. No way. Yeah, I feel you on that. It's a shame. Like, I feel like my life would have been very, very, very different if it wasn't for magic. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. Because I put on so much weight because of magic, because I do it full time, and even though I travel and things, essentially it's a seated job. But then there's no excuse because some magicians are skinny. I just like pizza so much. PD and JD, y'all are high school sweethearts, so cute. Yeah, totally. Anthony Crapella, sorry I'm late. No worries, dude. You were on here earlier. I'm sure you in the early comments before we started, weren't you? What are your thoughts on flashing? Do you think if you only flash for some people but not majority of people, it's fine? That's a great question, Zero. I think it depends on your style of magic. So if you want your audience to believe what you're doing is real, which I know some magicians are against that, I'm not against that, then if you flash, you destroy all credibility as a magician. If what you're doing is more a style of that you can do magic things, you can do some, like, I don't know, if what you're showing is that you're doing skill-based effects and that it's not real, like Penn and Teller, for example. Penn and Teller quite openly tell you that magic's not real, magic is BS, they're not doing magic, and then they, like, for example, they clear cups and balls. It doesn't matter if they flash because they're going to entertain the crap out of you. That's all that matters, is the entertainment, and they're still two of the best magicians that's ever walked the earth. So it doesn't matter if you flash in that context. If though you're going for like the David Blaine style route, where Blaine allows his audience, I believe, well, yeah, he does. I mean, if you watch his show, that he's going to make magic real. This is real, and then he flashes. That's game over. So it depends on who you are as a performer. Fabianowski, I know it's too early to talk about this, but will you come to Italy for the 2025 FISM? Yeah, I'll probably be there, to be honest. I was at FISM in Rimini in 2019, was it? I really enjoyed that. I did Masters of Magic in Italy too. So I'll probably be at FISM 2025, man. For sure, come say hi, we'll hang out. Chris James said, it's a whole damn year since my pop died. Grief time is an odd thing. Just wanted to say thank you all for making this year just a bit easier, keeping my mind busy. Man, it's honestly so tough, losing anyone you love. And I mean, I honestly think that, I always say to Kaylee, like, magic is therapy for me. Like this channel, especially for me, like I just said, if it was 32,000 followers or one, I'd still be doing it, because this is like my everything. This is that scratch that needs to be scratched. This is what stops me going like loopy and everything. So I lost my dog this year. I know it's not comparable, Chris, but my dog Pixel died, and you guys all know how much I loved her. I came on and did the Sunday session when I was really, really feeling low, and it genuinely, I can remember every emotion I went through on that Sunday session, and it genuinely helped. So thank you all for being here, especially you, Chris, man. You're amazing, and what you're doing, you're doing some incredible things yourself. And if you guys aren't following Chris James on social media, go and check him out. He's making huge waves, and I think he's going to be a name that you're all going to know this year and definitely next year, like as a creator. Real talented guy. Tickety says, so Kaylee has always liked magic even before she was with you. Yeah, she loved, like, she's the only layman I know, she's genuinely the only layman I know that loves magic as much as she does, for real. Because when I went to her house, she actually had magic DVDs, but the DVDs of their shows and their TV shows, like the Darren Brown DVD, DVDs of his like shows and things, Dynamo stuff, Darren Brown's books. She had all of it as a magic fan, which is crazy, because I don't know anyone in my life that is a magic fan like that, but not a magician. Pete and JD says, does Kaylee have a sister who's single? She does have a sister. Yes, she's single. And I will send you her number. No, I won't, because she'll kill me. Chris James Magic says, dude, talk about a performance. Kaylee killed it the other day. I'm taking tips from her performance. I know, guys. I don't know about you. Like, I know she's my wife, so I'm super biased. But I was like, when she performed that trick, I was like, she was genuinely a confident performer there. Like, I've seen magicians stack it or be too nervous on camera. I know a few magicians that have put releases out with companies I've worked at that did have absolutely floundered in front of the camera before on tricks that are easier than what Kaylee did. And I was like, is this for real or not? And am I just hyping her because she's my wife? But yeah, I was really proud. Like, and I don't know. I think she taught me a lesson, which is like, just, I worried too much about being seen as a magician or people judging me for being a magician. She was like, I don't care, I think this is cool. And she just went for it. And I thought, like, after it, I was like, that's dope. Put me back. I started a new job and stress bummed me out for a bit. Didn't watch any magic for a bit. But my wife and your content gave me the kick up the ass I needed. Magic's awesome. And an escape. Punk me Max, I feel you. Yeah, dude, sometimes it's okay. It's good sometimes. Just like take some time off, you know, focus on trying to like fix what's stressing you. If something's stressing you, try to like, if you can't fix it, then try and find ways to like cope with it, you know, healthily. And then yeah, don't focus on other things until you're ready, and then come back when you're ready. We're all here to support you. If you ever need anything, you can drop us all a message, dude. Tiggity says, that's a sweet story. I guess if it was meant to be, it will. Sounds like it took a few years for it to happen, but it seems like it was worth it. Yeah, it definitely took 17 years for it to happen. But then once we reconnected that night, it was like boom, engaged within 6 months, married a year after that, and then a baby 7 months after that. Since I sent you a butterfly deck, I think I should send Kaylee a Darren Brown deck or Dino deck. Dude, that would blow her mind, Stu. But you shouldn't be sending me all this stuff. Chris James, are you Mr. Blonde? Who's the collective? I cannot say. I'm not Mr. Blonde. Put that out there. But I know, or might know who they are. What's the last trick and last magic book you purchased? The last magic trick I purchased was like a Scotch soda coin unique, you know, locking coin set. I think that was the last trick I purchased. And then the last magic book that I purchased was, I can show it to you right now. It's this book. I haven't read yet, but you all know me, I'm a bit of a nerd for number things. Think of a Number, Magic or Maths by Sarah Howe Plummer. So it's like magic, maths, number-based tricks. I think there's... What I want to do is go through that and then dissect some of the great methods from it, and then encase them in organic sort of fooling plots that make sense. Hey Lloyd, what's your best mentalism using one ahead principle? I don't know what my best one is. I taught something on you not so long ago about doing a straw through bill effect, where you need to switch the bill at the end. But what I use in the one ahead sort of way is that the bill that I switch so they can examine it, I write down the serial number and like use it as a reveal, but like way later on. And I know it's not strictly one ahead, but I love how far ahead I get with that, because I do a visual general piece of magic, and then later when the disassociation is just off the charts and the time misdirection is just beautiful, I can then do like the world's like most cleanest serial number reveal, and because that reveal could be written down and posted to them before I do the trick style. You know, that's how far ahead you are. That's one thing I love. I love, you know, doing things like that, just synergetically, like getting so far ahead. Anthony Crapella says, hey Lloyd, what's the best book I should look into as a new magician to start reading? I best book. I like Paul Harris's Art of Astonishments, but I'm not sure if they're ready for a beginner per se. I mean, it depends on. I would watch a lot of magic, right? I'd watch a lot of magicians. Find the ones that you like and feel like that it's sort of the same sort of personality type as you. You know, are you a nerdy magician? Are you a too cool for school magician? Are you an everyman? Are you a bit of a rocker? Are you whatever your style? And sort of look at what they're doing and sort of there's a book called Steal Like an Artist, and you're obviously not going to steal their work, but it's okay, especially when you start out, is to be heavily influenced, because you can learn what you. More importantly, they can teach you what not to do or what not to be like. So I would look at the magic you like, and then depending on the type of tricks that the people that you feel suit your style, that you kind of want to start off like before becoming like yourself. Depending on what tricks, like is it general magic you're doing, then maybe you want to pick up like Tarbell's course in magic, or is it strictly card stuff, so you want to do like Royal Road to Card Magic would be a great book for card magic to begin with. Are you interested in mentalism? Then 13 Steps to Mentalism is a great start. So just depends on what you're into and what style it is. But if there's one magic book which could be read at different times in your magic career, beginner, intermediate, or like professional, there's Darren Brown's Pure Effect. It's absolute magic and pure effect. I always get them confused, but one of them is about, or is a heavy emphasis on like making your magic stronger. So what I'm saying is like books on theory on magic, I suggest more, because it's not about learning 100,000 different tricks. It's about taking about like 5 or 6 really good tricks and getting the most out of them. Like for example, any books by Eugene Berger are a great start there, because he will teach you how to take standard, classic, traditional pieces of magic and make them feel incredible with story. I don't know. So it really depends. I know it's a broad question to ask. I'm sorry if that answer was rubbish. Sean J said, oh, it just jumped a mile then. Where did that go? Sorry, I'm majorly late, but I made it. You have been doing the rounds to see the family, to tell them the news. What's the news, Sean? I need to know that. Oh, I know the news. Oh, you did that huge trip to Gloucester? Confirm if it was Gloucester you did the trip to. How did the news get received? Chris James, I do social media magic. Could care less about likes and followers. I admit it gets in your head sometimes, but I also remind myself it doesn't matter to me. Yeah, I think the moment it starts to matter is when it doesn't work for social media things. Jeremy says, thanks for being you. Thanks for being you, Jeremy, man. Thanks for checking in on the show. The show? The service. I read the next comment under you about Delgadio's show, and that's why I say show. Fabianowski says, I've recently watched Derek Delgadio's show on Disney Plus. Truly amazing. I was fortunate enough to see Delgadio's show live in New York. What do you say about that? You know what I mean? I don't consider it a magic show. I don't think, there's magic tricks in there, but they're just vehicles to drive that story, to make that story. I think they just help that story that he tells, like, feel. It helps you emote it in a way which you don't feel in other theatre type shows. Incredible. Chris James, I use social media as just another outlet to show magic, to share my passion. I prefer in-person magic. Yeah, dude, I feel you on that 100%. Seto Silva, hey Lloyd, how do you feel about people who claim to be clairvoyant or claiming they have true magical powers? I think clairvoyant are people who say they speak to the dead of loved ones are abhorrent, right? It's disgusting, because they're lying to people, pretending. Like if someone came up to me and said that they had spoken to my grandfather, now that he's deceased, or my grandmother when they're dead, and because what we do with magicians, we know they're lying. I'd want to murder that person, not actually murder them, but like I would want to vomit the thought of that, and especially when they're doing it for money, that's even worse. So So there's a company, I won't even name the company, but they emailed me recently to become a clairvoyant on their channel and promote it and sell readings for money. I just think it's the grossest thing I've ever heard. But people who pretend to have magic powers or claim to have magic powers, that's okay. Magic is not harming anyone. When you're doing magic tricks, they're okay. There's no one being hurt there. So I think it's fine to say I'm doing magic. Until it becomes a point where people are like, can you really heal me? I'm dying of something. I want to be healed. Can you use your magic? I think you need to be like, oh, yo, just so you know, like I am doing tricks, because you can give people false hope and things. You know what I mean? Aziz Adesina says, hi Lloyd, I'm tried sending my videos through email, but I couldn't because there was a size limit. Is there any other way to send it? Yeah, you could use WeTransfer.com, would probably help, or just send it to upload it and list it to YouTube. Meeting JD says a man can dream. I can't see it says message retracted though, the previous message. Sister K was great performing. Alex Bo says, love your stuff, Chris James. Aziz says, also my channel's been growing slowly but surely, and you've been one of the reasons why I've gotten back into tutorials. I just want to say, share that with everyone. Thank you for what you do. Oh, great, man. I'd love to check out your channel too. So let me know, is it a YouTube channel? And thanks for the kind words, dude. Alex Bo, try to fix what stresses you. Haha, I can't send the kids back. Oh my lord. Hey Lloyd, would you ever make a video showcasing follower magic? Sito, I'm always interested in new video ideas, but I don't understand. Could you explain in a comment what that means, a follower magic? Or is it like is that a typo? But I'm interested to know what that question's about. Chris James Magic. What is fibrous rubber? It's some thread looking stuff. Came with new Flick wallet. Amazing, by the way. I need refill. Can't figure out what it is. I have no idea. Sounds cool though. I definitely want to know what that is. You need a PO box so we can send you things. I had a t-shirt for you. I've been told a few times to get a PO box. I'll probably open one up or look into it this week so that people can send stuff. But I feel bad you guys sending me things. I appreciate it, but I feel bad. All right, let me just say, oh, we got a super chat in from Sean. Drop some fire emojis down below for Sean J. Magician. He's given us another super chat. What an absolute legend. Yes to Gloucester. Very, very well, thanks. I know what that news is. I probably knew what the news is before your family did, so I feel very honoured. And everyone, just say congratulations to Sean in the chat for me, because he's an absolute legend, and he has some big news that he just shared with family today. And I feel very honoured that I knew what that news was. PD and JD, what would you rather? Have Juan Tamariz do an A-can with you, watch Di Vernon perform his Triumph, have Sly Dini do his silk tie routine, or David Blaine and his ambitious card routine? I think I'd have to go for... Oh, that's a great question. I think Sly Dini with his silk, because I think Blaine's a god. Di Vernon, he's very well documented at his Triumph. Juan Tamariz is incredible, but I've seen him do his A-can live. But to experience Sly Dini's silk tying routine, I know very little about it. And it's the one I know the least about, so I think I'd have the best experience and the newest experience through that. So that's what I'd go for. Punk Bex, cheers Lloyd, it means a lot. This is why people respond so well to you and your content. You have inspired and pushed me and the magic community. What's more, there's no arrogance. Oh man, dude, Punk Bex, thank you so much. It means the world. And like, I'm alongside you. I keep saying, but like at conventions, I hate hanging out with magicians with names. And some of you could be magician names. It doesn't matter if you are or not. I just like hanging out with real people and just chatting with the real people who just love magic and just not trying to be too cool for school. People who are like, I hate people who like go to conventions and like and act too cool to even show magic or jam. Like I just like people that keep it real and want to hang out. And I feel like all of us together are that crowd, you know, the right ones. So thank you for being here, because the whole Sunday session started off because of the pandemic. We couldn't hang out, and I just missed people, like real people. So I feel you, and I feel it back. You know, when you read and watch things we mailed you, you said you would look at them with Craig. So the Craig thing has been pushed off, the Craig Chop thing, I think for at least 3 weeks, because I'm my birthday next Sunday, then following Sunday I think I'm in Liverpool, so then Craig's going to be here then, and we can try and go over it that week, but I have got those videos, I have got those emails. Sean Jackson, another super chat. Drop some more fire and love for Sean. What's going on, guys? What? Let me just do this real quick. Sean's big news that you can all congratulate him on is that I feel like I'm sharing your news and I shouldn't be sharing your news. I feel bad, but if you're sure, Sean's having a baby. Ooh, and it's going to be amazing. And he travelled, like, to the other side of the country to let his family know. Oh, I'm all emotional about that. What am I on about? Congratulations, Sean. It's real magic. It's going to be the best thing that ever happens to you, I'm telling you. Alright, off to watch a film, says Stu Batman with the wife. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for joining in, Stu. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up soon, guys. I love having you on here. Chris James says, my one tip on magic books is the best magic books I've read are not even magic books. For example, an archery book I read was amazing for timing and learning to breathe during performance, beats and something else. But yeah, that's a great piece of advice. It's like, magic books are not always the best way to become better. It's about becoming a better person and knowing yourself and how you like move and operate, and then you can sort of focus on your magic. Yes, to Gloucester, very, very well. And yes, you can mention it if you would like to. Okay, I just see that one now. Yeah, it's a YouTube. My YouTube channel is Aziz Adesina. Go and check out Aziz. Is he going to be a dad? Tigger T, you are a mentalist. You guessed correctly. Alex Bo says, have you seen the new Peak Wallet and the hard case one? Yep, seen them both. I'm not sure. Is there a question there? But I've seen them. See, does it viewers magic? I know a lot of magicians are here, and it'd be great to connect with more magicians. But taking note on viewers' Instagrams and viewing videos can be tedious. A viewer highlight reel. Oh, Sita man, I still don't get the question. Do you mean magic just for people watching online? So like magic just through the screen. So it's magic. Just for, is that what you mean? Sorry, just so I can answer the question. And what is my thoughts on it? Or is it? I think it's just me being stupid. Sorry. Learn triumph, but is there a better way to make false shuffles on the table where one pack is turned face up? Yeah, there's quite a few. Miko was asking this question. There's quite a few ways. Mark Calabrese, I think, has a great method for this sort of thing. Maybe Michael Webber. But look at Leonard Green. I think Leonard Green has the best sort of looking false shuffles on the table. And you could definitely incorporate, and he probably does some of those methods into the Triumph. But look at Leonard Green's like tabled false shuffle work. Yeah, congratulations, Sean. Woo! Oh, viewers submitted videos. Okay. Seto, I'm with you, man. All right, let me go back to the question then. The original question, which was... How do you feel about people who claim... Oh, no. Where did it go? Would you ever make a video showcasing... Oh, yeah. All right, I'm with you. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Instead of doing it on a Sunday service where I'm multitasking, unless I can get someone to run it for me, maybe I'll do a video going through the submissions and then put it on the channel, like reviewing magician submissions. What do you guys think of that? Great suggestion, Sito. Alex Bow, what's happening with the Facebook page? Yeah, I've just been super busy and sick, so I haven't had a chance to get it up and running yet. But I will try to. Magic Digest was my first book. Has something for every level. Are you going for a Penn Gillette style beard and mustache? No, it looks terrible in this light. I swear I look not as bad with it. It's just growing as it is. Just be my birthday. Just be my birthday. Got some amazing tricks. Oh, incredible! Hell yeah! Invisible deck and the code. Those are two incredible tricks. That's a good idea. Maybe like Chris Ramsey used to have a Reddit. I don't follow Chris Ramsey. I know I probably should. I do know. Do I follow? No, I think I subscribed to him recently, but I haven't seen all his old videos. But is it like reacting to magic? Is that what he used to do? Teacher says, thank you for all you do and have done. I've become better because of you and others who take the time to teach online. Ah, thank you so much, dude. And I feel like it makes me better as well, like teaching to you guys, because you ask the questions that I don't think about, or the things that I don't think about, and then sometimes it makes me work harder, or makes me think about processes that I wouldn't have before, and sometimes just putting them into context helps me understand things too. So thank you to all of you for watching, because I feel like we're all growing together, really, because we're always the student, never the master, right? Oops, just realised my video was 13 minutes later than the comments. February for Sean's baby. Baby name Lloyd. Yeah, Sean, you're going to call the baby Lloyd? What's up with that? Come on. No, Chris reacting. Oh, that's cool. Alright, well look guys, we've been going for 2 hours. I was only going to do an hour today, but I've had such a blast with you. I love you all. I'm so tired, and I'm going to go hang out with the Messiah, Thomas, for a few hours now, or like half an hour, maybe even less, because he goes to bed at like 7:30. Alright, one more love for DS. DS Super Chat in the building. That was me trying to be cool. I can't be cool. Drop some fire emojis for DS, guys. He said, Lloyd, you should come to Columbus, Ohio. To the Columbus, Ohio convention in January. I should. I might come in January. Which convention is it? Oh, pardon me. I'm so sorry. I'm so hay fevered up. I might do. Which convention is it? I'm always down. And I've always wanted to go to Columbus, Ohio. It seems like it's got such a strong scene there. Sean, if I have my way. Yeah, Sean, I'm holding you to that now. It has to have Lloyd in the name in some way. Yes, Tigger T says, I hope everything goes well with the pregnancy. Yes, massively as well. Same here. I know how nerve-wracking that entire time can be, and the after time. So, good luck, Sean. We're always sending love to you and yours and the family. But, yep, thank you all for tuning in. Thanks, Simon, for tuning in, buddy. Thank you very much for today's service. My first one. I appreciate your generosity and spirit share. Thank you so much, Simon. Thanks for dropping a comment to let me know as well. Magic Colin, I believe. All right, sounds good, DS. Danny Marco, hey man, thank you for the comment. Oh, Danny, thank you for making the EDC Magic Group. Danny Marco's watching, everyone, the creator of the EDC Magic Group. Your group, Danny, by the way, literally makes me think better. Like, I look at stuff and it makes me come up with ideas from that group, so thank you for doing that. But yeah, guys, thank you for an awesome Sunday service today. I missed you all from last week. And thank you to all the super chats that came in. I love you guys. It's been the best. So I'll be back hopefully next Sunday. It is my birthday on Sunday next week, so it might be pre-recorded or I might just do it live, and we'll see how it goes. Stay sexy, Danny Lloyd, Pete and JD. You know. I'll speak to you guys soon. Have the best rest of your weekend and go and chill out, eat some good food, and watch some good movies, or practice or do something other than watching my ugly face any longer.